What's up guys, it's Cameron. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through and talking about my sophomore year at the University of Florida. So today is May 7th. I've been done officially for about a week. Grades finally were officially submitted a couple of days ago, so the GPA has been updated. I am now officially done with my sophomore year, but it is crazy that I'm already 4 semesters into my career at UF. I am graduating 2 years from now, which is absolutely crazy. It's crazy to think that, you know, in the same amount of time that it was that I graduated high school, the same amount of time moving forward, I will be graduating college. That's kind of a scary thought just because, you know, being growing up and it's time to do big things. But at the same time, it feels like we just started college and I can't believe I'm already so far in. So that's enough talking about where I am. Let's talk about how the school year actually went. So if you saw this video for my freshman year, I kind of talked about how my freshman fall was kind of rough, just adjusting to college, and then spring I really applied myself and got the grades I was looking for. I really adopted this new mindset of academics first moving into my sophomore year, and I have to say every single goal that I set for myself for sophomore year I accomplished. I was able to finish both semesters with a 4.0 GPA, which is something I never would have thought even possible a year prior. And I'm honestly just super proud of myself for pulling it off and putting in the work, because it kind of just proved to myself again that, you know, if you really want something, you can go out and make it happen. No one else is going to do it for you. You are the one who has to make it happen, and that is exactly what I did. And I can't wait to move forward, and I'm just so thankful that I have this new mindset where I feel like I can accomplish anything. This year certainly was not the easiest either as far as course scheduling goes. I took both financial and managerial accounting, 2 classes that are kind of used as a weed out course for finance majors. A lot of people I knew, a lot of my friends were really struggling in the class. They were not getting that B, and a lot of kids switched their majors. And so that was just kind of a crazy time with everyone switching and, you know, life plans changing up by the second. But I was very fortunate that I just enjoyed financial accounting. I enjoyed the content. I thought it was really interesting, and I ended up with an A. I was super proud of myself again, just because, you know, that was just a class that was notoriously tough for a lot of students, and just even in my own life, I was seeing a lot of other kids struggle. So that was the fall. I got an A in financial accounting, which was just the big accomplishment. The other classes were definitely easier, simply because I knew financial was going to take up the most of my time. So I took information systems, which was kind of like Excel, that whole side of things, and I had an A- in that class the entire semester, and I needed a 100% on the final exam to get an A, and that's exactly what I did, which was crazy. And then the other classes were just classes that I can't even really remember at this point, but I got all A's nonetheless. And finally, this last semester, this spring, everyone knows with everything going on in the world, it was certainly a crazy time and an unprecedented time, especially for universities and professors having to switch all online and really change up a lot of their course content and their teaching philosophies. I've discussed it a lot in previous videos, but with the infrastructure that you have already had in place, it really didn't affect my business courses too much, because those were already recorded live, and then they would be published online for you to watch at any point. So the only difference once things went fully online was that the professors were just filming the lectures to the camera instead of to the camera in front of an audience. So it really didn't affect much at all. Everything pretty much stayed the same for me. This definitely aided in my ability to, you know, keep up my grades and continue working hard, because I was already used to it, and it wasn't like there were any real roadblocks to learning the material. It was pretty much all the same. It was just, you know, more the mental side of it, worrying about things going on and staying motivated to finish the semester strong. Another thing that threw off the motivation at some points was that, like a lot of other schools, UF allowed students to do the satisfactory, unsatisfactory grading, which means that as long as you got above a C- in the class, you were technically passing, and you could register for that grading, which means that you pass the class, you get the credits for it for your degree requirements, but it doesn't have any effect on your GPA. So for people who were struggling in a lot of classes, maybe getting B's and C's, they could opt into this and then they wouldn't have to worry about it, being detrimental to their own GPA. So I know a lot of kids were probably tempted to do it for every single one of their classes, but for me personally, I had all A's except for a B in managerial accounting. I still had a really good grade in that class. It would have required me to just do really well on my final exam, but I just decided to be smarter for myself, to just devote more time to my other classes and make sure that I secure the A's in those, and then just do pass-fail for managerial accounting. So this is what I ended up doing, and it worked out perfectly. I was able to secure my A in all my other classes, and then managerial I was obviously able to pass with no problem at all. So yeah, I didn't get the GPA boost from having managerial accounting. In the end, it's kind of weighing the risk and the reward. Sure, I probably could have studied a little bit more or a lot more and have gotten an A, but then it would have been opportunity cost of then not studying for my other exams and potentially missing out on the A in those classes. So in the end, no regrets at all. I was taking 17 credits this semester, so 4 credits not counting towards the GPA really wasn't that big of a deal because I still had 13 credits that counted as A's that were going to the GPA, so that was still, one of the things I was glad that I, for some reason, signed up for 17 credits at the beginning of the semester. So 17 credits in total. I had a class called Business Ethics. I think technically it was like Ethics in a Global World or something along those lines, but that class was 2 credits and it only ran the first half of the semester. I really did enjoy this class. If anyone goes to UF and you're considering the class, definitely take it. The professor, Dr. Ray, he's a wonderful guy. I really enjoyed the class. It was a lot of reading, but being that it was only half the semester, it was kind of worth it just to, get it over with at the first half of the semester and then have 2 credits that were hopefully a good grade. For me it was, with an A moving forward. The next easy class that I took was called Survey of Architecture. I needed this class for my Gen Ed because I still needed more words. In order to graduate at UF, you need to have, I think, 24,000 words. I don't know how they define words in all the respects. At least for this class, we had 2 3,000 word papers, so it qualified as 6,000 words. But a lot of AP credits go towards it, so AP English, AP Lit. But those, I don't know how they counted the words for that. But regardless, I still needed a certain amount of words, so that's why I took that class. No, I'm not an architecture major or minor, but I thought the class seemed somewhat interesting compared to the other options, and I'm glad I ended up doing that because not only did I get a pretty easy A, but I also filled my writing requirement. So architecture, that class was 3 credits, so that was another kind of GPA booster that was in my schedule. Now, the other 3 classes that are still left were all 4 credits each. None of them were necessarily considered easy. Some were definitely easier than others, but they were all core business classes that every business major is required to take at some point. The first of these being managerial accounting that I mentioned before. I ended up with the S for that, for satisfactory, and I can't complain at all. So with that, that's another 4 credits, and that's 9 credits in total. The next class that was definitely the easiest of the 3 was Principles of Management. This class was a lot of definitions and memorization and names and theories and things like that, so it was kind of a fresh content. It wasn't a lot of numbers or anything like that, so it was kind of nice to have that in there just because a lot of my other classes were super quantitative, and this was kind of just using a different side of my brain. It also was very interesting, and I feel like I actually did learn a lot, and the lectures were somewhat entertaining. So I ended up getting an A in this class as well, and that was another 4 credits, so that's 13 in total. And finally, the last class was Business Statistics, or Statistics for Business Decisions, more technically. I don't know how many of you guys know the software called Jump. It's apparently super expensive, but the class kind of relied on Jump for a lot of the questions and the problems. It was a lot of analytical decision making, and that was another class where I feel like I did learn a lot. It was definitely hard just because the scaling of the grades was so high. It was a 94% for an A, and you could end up getting a 90 in the class and have a B plus. So not even an A minus, which was kind of scary, but in the end I was able to eke out the A. So that was a basic rundown of the courses that I took my sophomore spring. As I mentioned earlier, I set a lot of goals for myself for my sophomore year. I had high expectations, and in the end, I was able to meet all of them. I strived to improve my GPA. I think that's what I said. In order to not put too much stress on myself to get a 4.0, I just said I wanted to improve the GPA, and obviously I did that. I went from a 3.64 at the beginning of my sophomore year to a 3.81, which I'm at right now, and I definitely accomplished what I set out to do as far as improving my GPA. Another aspect that I really wanted to work on was getting more involved on campus. As a freshman, I was already pretty involved, I felt. I was in a good business organization within the business school, and I was making a lot of connections through there, but that was really it. In high school, I was involved in pretty much absolutely everything, so I really wanted kind of to branch out a little bit more in college and just meet more people and make more friends, and just join more organizations that would help me not only in my academic career but also in my my actual life career down the road. And this is where I kind of made the most strides of my sophomore year. I really wasn't afraid to just apply for a ton of things, and with that, it means you get rejected from a lot, and it was hard at times. I felt like I aced the interview and I was super qualified, but I wouldn't end up getting the position, and that could be hard at times, but it teaches you a good lesson to just keep on going. And it's not about all the doors that are slammed in your face, it's about the one that is opened, and that is certainly the case in how things turned out. So overall, I joined a ton of things. I really wanted to put an emphasis on getting involved in student government. I just really enjoyed kind of the legitimacy of it. It's definitely very official and it has a lot of power on campus, so I really wanted to make sure to get somewhat involved in that. So at the beginning of the year, I was accepted to be part of Student Government Productions, which is the organization on campus that puts together kind of the free events, brings in the big names, and promotes them. Another thing was I got more involved in my business organization. My freshman year, I was a mentee, I was new. So for my sophomore year, I was able to move up and I was accepted to be a leadership ambassador for the Heavener Leadership Development Program. So this was just an amazing opportunity that allowed me to act as a mentor to a lot of younger freshman business students. In addition to that, I also joined Student Honor Code as a staff member. So this happened this spring, and it was another kind of position within student government. And again, that was kind of one of those things that kind of took a back seat once students had to leave campus. What we would do for there, we'd proctor exams, we'd host events, and obviously being remote now, we can't do any of that. So that again has kind of taken a back seat as of late as well. And then there's still a couple of other things that I'll just briefly mention, but I was able to join Order of Omega, which is a Greek leadership honor society, so that was kind of just a cool thing. As well as continuing to serve my fraternity, I'm now the campus involvement chair, which I feel is a position that suits me pretty well. And finally, the position that made all of the rejections worth it. Just this last month, I was actually nominated and confirmed as the Executive Secretary of Finance and Fees of the whole student government, which is a very large position. It's a lot of responsibility, but I'm super excited for it. It's kind of one of those dream positions that I really wanted, and that makes everything worth it. All the doors that closed, the opportunities that I didn't get, they all led me to this. And it just makes you think, oh, if I got this position, I wouldn't have applied for this, or I wouldn't have seen that. And it kind of all led me to where I am today. So I'm really excited for that position. I'm excited for making more connections and making a difference on campus. That's really what it's all about. I want to make UF as good as it possibly can get. We're number 7 in the nation now. I had to include that somewhere in the video, but we are just getting started. I'm excited to see what is in the future. So I've just been rambling a ton, but I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and I hope it kind of just motivated you to go out there and keep pushing and keep working hard, because really anything is possible when you put your mind to it. I finished my freshman fall with a 3.3 GPA, feeling that this is just what I'm going to be now. I'm not going to be a straight A student. That was in the past. Just need to get through it. And I really turned myself around. I really committed to the work, and it has paid off tenfold. I know the current situation in the world isn't the best for us students, but keep working hard and you can accomplish anything that you want. With all of this being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'd love to answer any questions. My DMs are always open. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay safe, guys. Peace.